Ladies and gentlemen, at long last, the time has arrived. It's the kickoff of GameSpot's live stage show here at E3 2013. It is day one. The show floor doors have just opened. People have stampeded by, heading to the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, the Wii U even. And we've got the whole cavalcade of games here on the live stage show. I'm your host, Chris Waters, if I didn't already mention that. And we are kicking off with a show announced just yesterday at Microsoft's press conference, and that is Killer Instinct. Joining me to my left, I've got a whole crew of people who purportedly have Killer Instincts. Filthy Rich, welcome to the stage.
What's up, man?
The community manager and strategist on Killer Instinct, fighting game legends, is that a little too much to say? Not yet? Fighting game connoisseur, say the least. Next to him, we've got Mike Willett, lead designer on Killer Instinct.
Lead producer.
The design director is to your right, David Verfai. Guys, welcome to the stage. Big day for you yesterday, huh?
It was an awesome day. Got a lot of love from the community, a lot of outpouring from even other developers saying like, oh my God, like we've been imagining this game for 17 years. You made a grown man cry. So it really touches deeply because we care a lot about this project, and we're a super passionate group at Double Helix Games, love fighters. We got guys on the crew that worked on Weapon Lord, worked on Skullgirls, worked on Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and also Super Street Fighter 2.
That's a pretty solid fighting game pedigree you guys got going there.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool veteran staff that we just love fighting games, and this opportunity to get out there, get more exposure to basically the community, and get people to, see what Killer Instinct's all about and participate in its growth.
Excellent. Well, let's start seeing what Killer Instinct is all about right now. Let's hop into a match. You guys are rocking your fight sticks here, your Mad Catz gear.
Anybody wants to check that out? Brand new Mad
Catz.
We
got camera shot on the brand new Mad Catz. Killer Instinct branded.
All right, yeah, cool.
All right, now Rich, Killer Instinct, of course, a big splash back in the 90s. Give folks a little history lesson while we watch Jago and Saberwolf mix it up real quick.
You know what? We're going to talk about a little bit about the history for KI, but at the same time, let's have these guys fill you in on the basics.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what it's going to be all about. There are people who play KI, there are people who are playing fighting games nowadays. Let's talk about the history of the game. As we talk through it, we're going to have Michael and David over here talk through. Basically, we'll go through some basic mechanics right now, and I'm going to let both Mike and Dave talk about this.
So the core of the KI combat system is obviously combos. So what we've done is sort of retain the essential combo mechanics from the past, but sort of updated them. So you've got openers again, you've got linkers, you've got doubles and enders. But what's new is that the system's much more open. You can take your own path through it. So whereas in the past you would have to go sort of opener, double, linker, double, ender, now you can take your own path through and sort of, jam on your own.
So room to create, carve out your own sort of fighting style, work in your own unique combos, bring something different so that when I take on one Saberwolf, it's not like taking on every Saberwolf. There's not the killer Saberwolf combo. There's a lot more flexibility there.
Absolutely. You can sort of define your own style. It's very situational, whether you're in the corner, whether you've got meter. There's different combos that'll sort of do the best damage,
It was very important for us as we evolved the game to take, like we had a hard fast rule. It's like 50-50, 50% of the past, because we need to stay true to our roots and what makes KI KI. It's brutal, it's in your face, it's about a two-way interaction, and it's about 50% of what is the new. How do we modernize it and make it built for like today's fighting game community, the sophisticated audience, right? So as you can see with the way that we developed Jago, it was maintaining those key reads that have always been part of Jago. So it's the mask, it's the sash, and then it's also the sword. But then it's evolving it, like taking the story behind the Tiger Spirit and really integrating it more so into his outfit in a really compelling way. So you get this intricate tattoo, as Dave blows me up, you get this intricate tattoo all over his arm that he's done himself. You get the pleats in the pants that are fully simmed that also represent the tiger stripes, and then he's got the awesome knee guards that are like the tiger's mouth that you can see open and close as he idles. So just all these really cool reads.
I like it. And so you're talking about, going into the Jago character, Jago, the Jago character. But this is a pretty eclectic cast here in Killer Instinct. And now you guys have shown off Jago, you've shown off Saberwolf, of course, but there's a lot more characters to come, and, folks who know Killer Instinct can probably guess at some of them. You guys announcing the whole roster yet? Who we got confirmed so far?
We're not announcing the whole roster yet, but if you watch the reveal, sorry, buddy. If you watched the reveal at the presser yesterday, you saw Glacius in the trailer. He's going to be fully playable at EVO, and then we're going to start announcing upcoming characters as well. So please come check us out at EVO. We want as many people as possible to touch the game, give us their feedback. This is, like, we can't stress it enough. This is really about building a community around this game, and we want to know, what do you like? What do you hate? Who do you want to see return? Like, we're completely humble. Like, you won't hurt our feelings if you're like, hey, that sucks. No, we want to hear about it. How can we improve this to where this is the Killer Instinct that you've been imagining for like 20 years, right?
Yeah, and that's basically what I'm trying to do right now. I want to take every piece of input that the community's given out, whether you're an old school KI fan or you're somebody who's just playing every single fighting game out there. Tell us what we can do to make the game for you. You know what I mean? Our whole dev team, you know, we mentioned we're dedicated. We got this team that's experienced in playing or working on multiple games. We want to make this game the game that people play for the next few years.
Well, that's something, the community-driven aspect is something we love here at GameSpot. And so, folks, if you have questions about Killer Instinct, I'm taking a look in the chat on twitch.tv/GameSpot. I'm looking at the comments on GameSpot.com, and I'm checking on Twitter for hashtag GameSpotE3. So sound off. These guys obviously want to hear from you, so let's hear it. Now, you talked about a few characters, but I think, you know, as you're revealing more characters, you can't talk about unlocking the whole roster without talking about the free-to-play business model you guys are bringing here with Killer Instinct.
Absolutely. So the free-to-play itself was a misconception. Rich beat him. It's actually what we're doing is when we launch day one, we want more than just the fighting game community to get to experience what Killer Instinct has to offer. So essentially, think of it as like a massive demo where we're letting you have Jago and you get all the single player content, all the multiplayer launch content, like that day one, so you can get to experience what KI is all about.
Okay.
And then we'll also be offering several different editions that we're going to announce later on, EVO, other shows that are coming up.
Sure.
So what the different editions are going to be. So you will be able to buy the full digital product, but then on top of that too, say like, hey, you know what? I got to play with Jago. I don't know if I like these other characters, but there's another couple I want. Purchase those, and you'll be able to play with those. So we want to make something for everybody. We'll give you the full version, all the bells and whistles, and then we'll also let you get, hey, I just want to check this game out, everything for free. And then on top of that, hey, I just want to get these couple characters, and I want to check these out. So there's something for everybody. We really want to make people, at least the intimidated ones, come out, try to play this game, check it out, see what it's all about.
And I think that's a really, you know, that's a great impulse to have with a fighting game because, you know, it's a competitive game. It can be a little daunting when you see these combos chain up and you're like, I don't know, and you hear, you know, people talk about openers into doubles, into linkers, into all the jargon you don't necessarily understand if you're a newcomer. Having that low, basically no barrier of entry, I think that's a great approach you guys are taking to really broaden the accessibility of Killer Instinct.
So if you recall, Killer Instinct, like at least for me, was always like the everyman's fighter. So you could just jump in there, mash some buttons, and something awesome would come out. And you're like, oh, like, it was the quintessential everyman's fighter in an age where everything was like, you know, just frames and pulling off like not fantastic combos. Maybe your highest combo was like 10 until like, you know, custom combos came out in like the Alpha series. But that was one of our pillars, was accessibility, and on top of that, like depth for at the higher levels of play. But what we're doing as well is when we release the title is having a pretty robust training system with around 40, he's killing him right now, around 40 significant training lessons to help people learn like the ins and outs of what the system is. Like, we want people to try to figure out how to play as quickly as possible so they can really get full enjoyment of the title and start competing online.
Now, both of the characters we're seeing, this is up close and personal combat, but we've got a question coming in from Banana Nap on Twitch, wondering about the role of zoning and control of space at a distance. What kind of role is that going to play in KI?
It actually will have a brand new role in KI, and we'll have to wait till one of our upcoming character announces, but we really wanted to separate our character archetypes. People that played KI 2, I mean, essentially every character was basically a rushdown character. Everyone was in your face.
Yep.
But to us, we wanted to kind of represent what I call the triangle of gameplay archetypes. You'd have like a balanced character, you'd have like a rushdown character, and then the other end you'd have like a grappler. And then everyone else kind of falls in between or around that. So we wanted to make sure that in our game, characters had options and they played uniquely different. I know in this demo right here, you have Jago, who's kind of, you could say, like your balance character, similar to Shoto's. And then you have Saberwolf, who's like extremely rushdown and trying to get in your face all the time. And so Jago's going to try to keep him off, try to use fireballs, try to bait things. And then Saberwolf has tools that allow him to try to get around the projectile game and get on the inside.
Okay.
But there's going to be other characters. They're going to have a lot more tools than Jago does as far as the projectile game, so just wait and see.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Going to be a lot of focus testing with characters like that, and we want the crew, we want the community to come out and check it out.
Rich, what did you just do here?
So what you just saw, you know what, I want to let them jump into it, but we utilize the instinct mode, which is kind of a new way to feature basically the differences between two characters. So we canceled an ultra right there into the instinct mode, started up a basic combo into another ultra. So it's basically another way to really make your opponent angry. And I think it's like that, these newly implemented things that we have into this system, you know, instinct mode, our shadow mode, I want these guys to touch up a little bit on it more, but basically what it is KI is the game that just lets you be creative. And for a community like the fighting game community, I think that's what we're all about. Like, people want to be able to individualize themselves as players, but also kick some butt in the meantime.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, now, were you going to talk a little bit about Instinct Mode
Yeah,
before we
definitely.
get back to the questions? Cool.
Instinct Mode is sort of one of the new signature features for Killer Instinct, and there's a couple cool things about it. One is it sort of dramatically changes the visuals of a character. So each character, we're trying to highlight some new things when you go into Instinct Mode. So you'll see Saberwolf, when he goes in, his muscles actually pump up. And so in addition to visuals, there's a whole bunch of gameplay aspects to it. One is you can use it as a cancel. So if you do like an unsafe move, you can instinct cancel out of it. And then the other thing you saw with the Ultra there is you can also use it as a combo extender. So if you're in the middle of a combo, you can instinct cancel and then continue. So it's going to allow a lot of freedom and style in combos.
Another tool in the sort of versatility. Now, Rich, you mentioned earlier, you know, you get into that instinct mode, you start tearing your opponent up, really make them mad. During the Microsoft press conference yesterday, Killer Instinct was used to feature one of the new features of Xbox One, that gameplay clip selection and sharing tool. You guys want to talk a little bit about that and how sort of getting your own highlight reel, like highlighting those moments and sending them around and sort of rubbing it in is factoring in here?
Well, I think that's one of the most amazing parts about this is that you want to play a game that everybody else is playing. So how are you going to do it? You're going to show them the gameplay. Maybe that along with the model that we're looking forward to, which is having the demo, but then also being able to purchase the game. Sometimes it's being able to see the game or showing off how awesome a particular combo or character. That's basically the gateway in. And, you know, Twitch being what it is, it's just an amazing channel for us to show off the game, basically bring in that competitive community, not only for players, but also for spectators. Like, we want this game to appeal to somebody who may be just chilling on a Saturday and just want to see two people beat people up, but maybe we also want to be able to hit really well for the guys who want to spend time in the training mode and playing the game. So, I mean, that's one aspect we really want to do. I mean, making your own combo videos is what it's all about. You see nowadays for every fighting game, the way that a player or a community member could stick out is just to show off, you know, I could do this one combo, no one else can do it. We want to be able to bring that to the players at home.
Look at the way I link these things together, see what I crafted, and that's not only strategically cool for players, but also visually cool, because you just get to see the characters in action in different ways. One of the things I'm getting a lot of questions about here in the Twitch chat is finishers and like flashy ways to end the match.
Yes.
Some people have been using the word fatality. I'm not sure that's a KI term, but you know, how do we, you know, when you want to just really knock the opponent out, what's the flashy element you can use there?
So right now we put a lot of concentration into the core combat system and the ultras and the instinct mode and modernizing the systems, but we're totally looking for that feedback from the community. So it's like, if players want to see that stuff, let us know. What kinds of stuff do you guys want to see? And we'll do whatever it is within our power to make sure that stuff happens.
All right. You folks heard it.
Yeah.
Holler at the Killer Instinct folks. They're listening. Now, I think you know, it's worth just saying again, we've still got some confusion about the newly announced Killer Instinct, about how it's going to get out to players. There was some misconceptions about it's free to play, you're only going to have one character, etc. You're going to have to buy characters a la carte. Let's just get the quick breakdown one more time. When Killer Instinct launches, how are people going to be able to experience it?
You can buy the full version of the game and all the content that's going to be released for our season of download content at a price point.
Okay.
And then there's going to be different editions of that we're going to announce as well. Special
versions
editions
with bonus content.
Absolutely.
And so that's on top, but then you're also talking about a leaner mode.
And then after that, underneath is the demo itself will be Jago with all of his mode, all the single player modes, all the online offerings from launch for free. And then if you choose to, then you can selectively choose what characters that you want and what features that you want after that. If not, just stick to the overall price plan. Our aim is to be competitive. We want people to enjoy the game. We want people to get involved as much as possible. And so we're going to have a lot more announcements in the future, and we're super excited. And we hope if you're able to make it out tonight, come see the show. And we're also going to be at Stella's Bar and Grill. I believe it's across the street with our arcade cabinet. So if you guys like fighting games, and if you're over 21, please come hang out. Let us know what you think of the game. Yeah.
Mike, very cool. You also mentioned EVO. That's a fighting game convention coming up. When?
July, is it 11th?
I think it's 11th.
Mid-July.
Yeah. It's the week after Comic-Con in Las Vegas, at Paris.
And are you guys a launch title for the Xbox One?
Yes, we are. We are a launch title.
Excellent. All right, folks. Killer Instinct. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on and tearing each other apart in the game there for us.
Come check
Great
us out
way
at
to kick off.
DoubleHelixGames.com.
DoubleHelixGames.com. No worries. Great way to kick off the show. Thanks again. Rich, you're the only one I can reach, so pass that handshake down to these guys. Thank you, Mike, David. And thank you, folks, for joining us for the first of many demos here on GameSpot's Live Stage 1 at E3. Now, I say Stage 1 because we have more than one stage. We've got a ton of live content offering for you here at E3 to help you experience the whole thing. We're going to give you a breakdown of that, and we'll be back in just a second with the next demo.